The MSN Tech and Gadgets Gaming Podcast.
Welcome to the first ever MSN Tech and Gadgets Gaming Podcast, starring Ian Lee.
Hello.
I'm Jane Douglas, Tech and Gadgets Editor, one of your hosts, and also with us is Nick Taylor, also Tech and Gadgets Editor.
Hello.
And before we get started, once you listen to the podcast, feel free to come over to the message boards with any comments, feedback or suggestions for next time. You'll find the message boards over on tech.uk.msn.com. Also, for next time, we're interested in callers. If you feel like calling in and coming on the show, drop us a line via the editor's blog, also at tech.uk.msn.com. With that, I'll pass it over to Ian.
On the forums, you don't have to say nice things as well, as it turns out. We'll do the feedback later on, but I wrote a column and had some quite strong feedback.
You might say that, yeah.
Well, I've had death threats. Anyway, look, we're here today to discuss computer games that have been turned into films. Also, on the converse, films that have then been turned into computer games, which there are hundreds of. Let's start with the games going into films first of all. Has there ever been a decent film made of a computer game? I don't think there has. The first one that springs to mind, Super Mario Brothers. Did anyone see that?
Yeah,
Absolutely shocking.
There's lots of flaws in the film. Their surname, it's Mario. So he's called he's called Mario and Luigi Mario, and Nintendo sort of went, well, yeah, that's not the case. Their surname is ambiguous and is of no fixed thing. So they're called Mario. It has got to be. I think it has got to be the worst film based on a computer game ever. It gets 3.7 stars on IMDb, which is pretty low. But there are people who love this film. And I don't know why, because it has no artistic merit, no entertainment merit. It's not close enough to the computer game to be worth anything at all. So I don't know. If people enjoy the film, then let us know. What is the forum address again, so that we can all go and have a little look?
Go to tech.uk.msn.com.
Okay.
And then to the message boards.
And if you like
that's the easiest thing.
the message boards, that's the. If you like the film, let us know.
Tell us why.
Yeah, tell us why.
I assume it's because a lot of people like Mario. But that said, a lot of people who like the particular games don't like the films that come out of them, so...
Tomb Raider, of course.
Which I actually quite like.
Tomb Raider's
I like
alright.
the first Tomb Raider. I don't know about the second.
I haven't seen the second one.
First one was good. Daniel Craig in it. I mean, that's value for money. You've got James Bond in there. So.
I didn't know he was in it.
Yeah, he is the love interest.
It's all right, isn't it? As far as action, it's a mindless action film. It's not that close to the game, though. It doesn't really
not
bear
at
that
all.
much
The game was
similarity.
all about being like solo and on your own and kind of atmospheric, and then the film isn't.
She doesn't in the film go, no. She does that a lot in the first game. No.
She just makes sounds when she runs into walls. Yeah.
I thought it was all right. 5.2 stars on the IMDb. Quite a good film. But the thing with these, I don't know who they appeal to. Is it going to be, are they aiming it specifically at the gaming market, or are they aiming it at the action market? Because if you try and straddle both worlds, you're not really going to please anybody, I don't think. I could be wrong, I don't know. But do you remember the first time you played Tomb Raider? I remember going to... it was some games exhibition at Earl's Court, I think, and seeing Tomb Raider, and it was like, what the flipping hell is this, man? This is, I'm running along and shooting wolves and jumping about. Fantastic. Best Tomb Raider game?
First one for me.
Really?
Number one.
Yeah, first one.
I would say two. I'm a fan of two. Yeah. I think, it's controversial. It's like saying that I prefer a Live 2 over a Live when you're talking about his Kiss records there. But Tomb Raider 2, I think, it's just got that little bit more to it.
Fair enough.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider 1 for me because it took away all my university years. That was why. It came out in the first year. I did no work for that whole year.
Anyone see Doom, the film?
Yes.
But I never saw this, but I saw it was The Rock, wasn't it? I think.
Yes.
I saw him being interviewed on it was The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and he was really trying to sell it. And he's going, what's so great about this film, John, is when I'm fighting, it becomes like the game, and you see the first-person perspective.
Oh, yeah.
And so you sort of, you see the gun, do
Yeah.
you? Firing off as though you're playing the film
There's
or
a
something.
sequence where it's all first person. He looks in a mirror and you see, yourself reflected.
But how do you see you?
Well, you see the character,
Okay.
and then it's like being in a first-person game.
Okay.
That was the idea. Have you seen it?
No, I've not seen it, and
Okay.
I really have no intention of seeing. So you've seen Doom.
I have.
What? Just briefly tell us, any good or not?
The Bond girl. Anyway, She's in it. She's good. She plays the twin sister of the lead.
Right.
And interestingly, The Rock doesn't end up playing the good guy.
Oh, really?
It might not be what you expect.
Suddenly, I'm a little bit more interested in this movie. Resident Evil. I think there's 3
I
films.
liked Resident Evil.
Whoa, Nick. Okay, everyone back away from the microphones. Nick has stepped in as a defender of perhaps the worst films ever made. But carry on, Nick. What was so good about them?
Well, I just liked it. I liked the bit with the lasers, where the lasers come across.
The lasers.
Yeah, and
The
they all
grid
turn
of
into
lasers.
squares.
Yeah.
You're a boy, aren't you? Bits with lasers
Come on,
are
someone
always
gets
good.
cubed. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. And zombie dogs as well.
Yeah.
Zombie dogs, which has got to be good. Yeah, sort of summed up the game quite well for me as well, really.
Is it-
felt
would
a
that-
bit like the game.
Oh, well, okay, that's interesting to say, because we've got to remember that these have come from games. How much like the game is it? If you had played the game, would you recognise the film? And also, could you see the film without having played the game and still dig it?
Yeah, the second one, yeah, you could see it without
Right.
without having played the game for sure. It's not all that similar to the game,
Yeah.
because they're just in some random underground bunker the whole time. You're not wandering around the streets,
Right.
like. But there's common themes and the whole Umbrella Corps.
Is
thing
the
going
acting
on.
as bad as it is in the first film? Because that's Resident Evil, again, a groundbreaking game, and a brilliant game. It's quite slow now if you play it today, actually, but brilliant game. But the acting in it is just abysmal. The first one particularly is just, they shot me. I think I'm going to die. Oh no, don't die. What am I going to do? Is that kind of... I think I've actually made it sound quite good there by doing it like that.
Yeah.
So is the acting in the film any good?
It's not bad actually.
You love this, don't
I
you? we found his soft spot. It's the Resident Evil movies.
Yeah.
I might have seen it twice.
I might have seen it twice, but I don't know if I'd say I was a fan. I think the problem was that the games were quite closely based on like Romero films, or they were styled after Romero.
Of course,
films.
yes.
And then for the film to kind of stray so much further away from that and create an original character. I mean, Mila Jovovich's character is completely original, and I don't know why they didn't just pull someone out of the games to do that. But
When is Resident Evil 5 coming out? Do we know yet? Because it looks fantastic. Okay, well, if anyone knows anything, go to the message board and let us know. Now, this is a film. The next one is a film I've never seen.
Okay.
I looked this up on IMDb. I'm going to go and buy this on DVD after this because it sounds like the most amazing film of all time. House of the Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Now, of course, the fantastic arcade game and the Sega game, with where you go around shooting zombies.
Mm-hmm.
This is the plot line for House of the Dead. Okay, and it's 2003. It sounds fantastic. A group of teens want to reach an island where a rave is being held. They pay a smuggling ship owner, Kirk, to take them to the island, despite the fact he is being pursued by the police. Once they arrive at the rave, they find no one. It is only later that they realise that zombies have attacked the rave and killed everyone. The zombies...
I hate it when that happens.
Oh man, isn't that a nightmare? The zombies also seize Kirk's boat, preventing the teens from escaping the island. Teaming up with Kirk's nemesis, Jordan Casper, and arming themselves with Kirk's smuggled goods, they attempt to fortify themselves in an old house in the middle of the island. Now, you cannot tell me that sounds like a bad film. That sounds genius, doesn't it? You've got zombies, you've got a smuggler who's being pursued by the police called Kirk, you've got a rave,
Sexy
and
teens.
you've got sexy teens. There's going to be ripped clothes, I would have thought. And there's a nemesis called Jordan Casper and a house in the middle of an island surrounded by zombies. It only gets 2 stars on IMDb. And it sounds wonderful. It sounds like the greatest zombie film ever made.
You
I
might
remember now
think
seeing
so.
the trailer for it.
Really?
Possibly just before watching Resident Evil. But,
For the second time, yes.
maybe. But I thought it looked brilliant from the trailer, I must admit.
They actually splice actual game footage into the film.
No, they don't.
They do. They do.
Do they really?
There's a sequence where they're walking along
Oh,
a
man.
sewer and they cut in footage from the original games with the action. So,
That
I mean,
is
what
so
more do you
cheap.
want?
That,
Yeah.
well, that deserves ultimate respect for at least being trying to be vaguely innovative
Well, yes.
in movie making. You don't get that enough these days. Now, these are the ones I've come with. Has anyone else got any other films
Well, I think the
based
director
on games?
of House of the Dead, his name is Uwe Boll, German guy.
She's good. I can see
And-
why Jane's here now. She's very, very good. She's here to fill in the massive gaps of facts
I
that
did my
I bring.
homework, yeah.
Well done.
He is a bit of a legend. Well, I say legend. He has made a lot of video game movies.
Oh, so that's what he specialises
He
in.
does kinda. Blood Rain and Blood Rain 2, which I haven't seen unfortunately. But then the game was not. Have you played the game?
No, I've not played the game.
No, I wasn't a huge fan of the game, so I can't imagine the film being fantastic. And what else was it? Postal. Do you remember the game Postal? He's making a film
I don't remember. I'm assuming that was around the time when a postman shot loads of
That's
people.
the one.
And
Yeah.
it was based on that
It was based on
macabre
that.
event.
It was indeed. Far Cry. He's down to make.
Oh, wonderful.
Blood Rain 3 and Alone in the Dark 2.
So-
You made Alone in the Dark.
So the
one, of
Blood Rain
course.
series was so successful, they're actually going to make a third one there.
Third one.
That's
yeah.
what was this guy's name?
Uwe Boll.
Can we get him on the phone one day for one of
That
these
would be
little
great.
little shows? Wouldn't that be fantastic to speak to Uwe
He
Boll?
might be up for that because you know
Of
what
course
he
he
did
will. He makes
once?
rubbish films. He'll talk to us
He
in my bedroom here.
Was so annoyed, shall we say, at the critics that he invited them to come box him. He's a former boxer.
This man's a genius. Uwe Boll is my new hero.
Right.
Okay, well, so they're the. Anyone else want to throw in a film based on a game at all?
Silent Hill. Anyone see it?
I didn't
Weird.
see it.
It was weird. I mean, I loved the games, and I was a little bit disappointed by the film, which I thought could have been better.
I think that's always going to be the case, isn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, Silent Hill, again, you play it now, it's quite slow and quite pedestrian. At the time, brilliant, atmospheric, very spooky. But I think if you're a fan of the game and you go and see a film based on it, you can only be disappointed, can't
Yeah,
you? You
that's
can't
true.
add anything
Yeah.
to the... And also, all the hardcore gamers, such as ourselves, and I imagine the people listening to this will go, yeah, well, that's not like the game, that's different, she looks different, that's a different name, that's not right, so they'll be picking all the holes in it.
That's right.
Well, I've got some games that are based on films, so we're kind of swapping it around a little bit. Obviously, there are hundreds of these, and they all vary in quality, quite a lot. But I've got two that I'm going to say are vying for the number one spot.
Right.
The first one, the original Ghostbusters game. The original Ghostbusters. Now, you're probably too young for this.
That was
You're
good.
old enough. What did you play it on? Because I played it on the Spectrum.
Yeah, 48K.
The
I played
48K. I had a BBC Micro. Can you believe that?
Really?
Fantastic game, that wasn't it? And it came out on loads of consoles. It came out on I think the MSX. It came out on the Commodore 64, which is a very solid version as well. If I remember it correctly, you had to buy a car, and you had a certain amount of money. Alex is recording this for us, and you may be able to hear Alex slightly off mic. Alex, what were you saying?
You can then put things on the car, you put little ghost trap on the
Yep, yep.
Hoover,
And you earned money, didn't you?
drove around, you had money.
And so then you had to drive around the grid map and see where there are ghost activity, or PK activity, I think it was. Drive up there, then you'd go to so you had a little driving game, which was good, and you had to dodge stuff. And then you'd get to the house where the ghost was, and you had to set the traps and get the ghost... Not cross the streams, that was it. And then
The ghost would come out and slime you.
and what did the ghost... What would you hear if you got slimed?
Slime you.
He slimed me. He slimed me. In really bad 48K computer speech. But a fantastic game. And you can sort of play it now.
Did you get to fight the marshmallow Stay Puffed Man at the end?
I don't think that happened. I think the NES version of it, it's got the final screen, and it just says, "Well done, competed, excellent game you did. Pay again," or something like that. It's one of those janglish things where it's just awful. You go, and they did that in the old days on computer games. Well done, you did it. Try again. Thanks. I've just spent a year playing this. Now there is a new Ghostbusters game coming out September the 26th. That's when some of the websites are advertising it's for sale. It's going to be based on a new script, and I think they've all given the thumbs up to give their voices in it as well. I think Murray's voice is in it, and Aykroyd, and all of that. I've seen it. I've not played it. I've seen a screen from it, a level from it. It looks fantastic, but they wouldn't let me get my hands on it, which always makes me a little bit suspicious. It always makes me a little bit. So the original Ghostbusters could be the number one, or GoldenEye on the N64. The collective sigh of recognition. What a fantastic game! You can still play that now. Get 4-player mode going. Fantastic. Right. Still really exciting. The multiplayer mode. I'm coming out of my trivia here now to prove I'm a geek. The multiplayer mode was like a last-minute accident that they they'd finished the game and someone went, "Oh, we're going to release that in a bit. Can we get 2 players on there, do you reckon?" They said, "Oh yeah, I think so." And then I think literally in the last couple of months of design of building the game, they put the multiplayer in. fantastic. Jane, you sighed an excited sigh there. I'm guessing you've
Fond
you've
memories.
played it.
Yes, very fond memories of
N64,
GoldenEye
man.
4-player.
What,
Yeah.
what a sweet game, what a sweet console as well, the N64. I'm going to dig mine out. I'm having a retro week at my house at the moment. I've been playing Dreamcast all week. Dick, do you ever play GoldenEye?
Yep, a lot. Student days again.
Yeah.
We used to dig in on the 4-player on that. Quality game.
Brilliant, and you
Although
could
I was
be
rubbish at it.
Really?
Yeah.
Mate, well, this is the next podcast is going to be the four of us playing GoldenEye multiplayer. just recording that. That'll determine who is the hardest corest gamer here. So I would say the best film to game is one of those two. Possibly GoldenEye may just have the edge on it. Very quickly, the Star Wars games. There's loads of them. The original Star Wars cabinet in the arcades was the vector graphics thing was fantastic, and you got to bomb the Death Star.
Nice.
Fantastic. Very quickly, I've got to mention again. This is the old 8-bit machines. Ocean used to release loads of film franchises. Now, RoboCop was a very, very good one, which was I've only got vague memories of playing it, but it was excellent. But they also did Rambo, Terminator, Cobra.
I was going to say Cobra.
Was Cobra any good? Well, this again on the Spectrum, I'm guessing, yeah.
Yeah, on the Spectre, yeah, 48K. And every time you died, it said game under. You get that?
Oh, I see what they've done there.
Yeah, very clever.
Anything else you want to throw in the mix there? Because that's all I've got for games based on films. I think we pretty much... I mean, there are hundreds out there, all of varying quality, and it is nice, isn't it, when you find a game that's based on a film that's actually quite good and stands up on its own, like GoldenEye. I would say GoldenEye, the game is possibly even better than the film. You know, it's got more longevity than the film in it. So there's a few like out there. Again, if you're listening to this and you disagree with anything we say,
Just recovering from the controversy over.
well,
the
well,
first one.
let's deal with the controversy
let's.
now, shall we? Let's deal with the controversy. I wrote a column in which I said that the PS. What I said was, and a lot of people I don't think understood this. They thought I was slagging off the PS3, saying it was a rubbish console.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying that. What I was saying was, Blu-ray is pointless, and that it hasn't got any decent games. You can debate the Blu-ray thing if you want, but the PS3 has not got any games that make it look superior to the Xbox 360. Now, everyone then said, he's getting paid by MSN to say that. But that's it. I'm an enthusiastic fan of gaming, okay? And I am paid by MSN to do this column and to do this podcast. Of course I am, that'd be crazy. But I am allowed to say bad things about Xbox. For example, yesterday I kept lagging out when I was playing Rainbow Six Vegas, and I had a very lengthy call to the Xbox helpline. So I can say bad things about Xbox, and I will be saying bad things about Xbox, you know, as and when. But at the moment, hands down, it's a stronger console, you know. The specs may not be as good, the numbers may not be as good, but in terms of games, I was going to swear then, it urinates all over the PS3 at the moment, you know. I think that's fair enough. And the Wii is a different thing in itself. The Wii, you can't even compare it to those two. It's a brilliant console.
Oh, yeah.
And I play it more than I play my PS3, but, you know, it's a different thing. So, anyway, I type up my little column. It goes on the internet. I'm very, very excited, and I go, I wonder what the young people are saying about me in the forums. And this is what they're saying about me. He works for Microsoft too, and despite denying being biased, he is hardly going to attack the console his colleagues, and probably him, helped build.
That's right.
Oh yeah, because I was there. Me and Mr. Gates, we were there. I was going. Yeah, I think you should tweak that a bit, make it grey. And another thing, the M in MSN stands for Microsoft. See a pattern here? Well, we've explained that one. I didn't. I'm just a hired hand, my young friend. Drexel says, "Why are you writing opinions on consoles if you've never heard of Blu-ray?" Well, I've heard of Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But I exaggerated slightly in the piece. I said I hadn't heard of HD until it had gone under. But you know, DVD surely is going to stick around, isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, you two know more than me.
I think so. For now, it's got a long life left in it.
And by the way, this is, I don't mind all. If you want to criticise it, I think that's good that we're having.
Definitely.
The MSN bosses agree that it's good to have a lively debate about this.
Yeah,
you sure
I
they're
actually
fine
think
with
so.
it? Okay. Ian Lee doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an arrogant fool who tries to be funny by saying things you'd expect school children to write, such as the PS3 cost something like £70 billion £100, and the Dreamcast was bought by approximately 50 people. Well, they're, in my defence, they're exaggerations.
They are
And that's a
exaggerations.
technique you're allowed to use. He's an idiot, plain and simple. Well, again, I don't think I can argue with that. I find it particularly amusing, he writes as he does, when he freely admits to having sided with Whoa, we're having the Betamax argument again. He admits to having sided with Betamax instead of VHS. There are like 70 billion, million, 100 more points he's made that I and anyone with an intellect could shoot down, but I won't because I've already wasted enough time here talking about the almighty brainiac Iain Lee. I did back Betamax when it came out. You missed the great... It was better. You missed the Betamax VHS war, didn't you,
I
for
did
the early
miss it.
80s? Nick, were you around then, or did you just miss it?
I was, but yeah, I was a kid.
It was war.
As you probably were as well.
I was
weren't
a, I was a kid, and it was nasty. I went for Betamax, better quality. PWX says the fanboyism here is, I've got to say, nothing short of laughable. Calling Iain Lee an idiot who has no idea what he's on about because he has an opinion that doesn't bow down and worship Sony. Sorry, Hank the Hunk, but I get the feeling he has more of an intellect than you could ever hope to. Thank you very much for that. He also says, I also adore my imperfect Xbox 360 and my Wii for their games too. Says, no, whoever the guy who wrote the article, at least play one game on any console. Well, I have done. I've only played my PlayStation 3 once, but I've been around and played my friend Steve's and my other friends' PlayStations quite a lot, you know, so I have played them. Don't just Google the info and then freestyle it to make 1,000 words, 800 words. I was not, if we're being pedantic here, I was not impressed at all. Even though I own a 360 and was very pleased to see very unforced 100% backing of the console, the article just reminded me of how it does not accomplish what it states out to be. It's just a rant and a rave. And finally, Random Person PS says, the reason I got angry with Iain Lee was because he didn't actually provide any evidence for his opinions. I don't need to. It's an opinion-based column. Or provide the reader with facts to base their own. Again, I don't have to. It's not a fact-based column. It's just me giving my opinion. Only giving pathetic, supposedly funny, renter soundbites which clouded the fact he doesn't have a clue what to write. He claims not to know about the battle between HD and Blu-ray, which I find incredible, as he is meant to be an expert on this field. Yes, here we go. Yes, if he is writing for MSN, I'd suppose he is an expert. Well, again, not everyone that writes on the internet is an expert, are they? I don't think. A main reason for not liking the PS3 was because he backed Betamax 20 years ago and he is sore. So what? Windows Vistas causes problems all the time, but people still buy the 360. Well, I haven't got. I've made the switch from a PC to a Mac, so I can put my. I know I can put my cards on the table there. I've backed away from something that Microsoft owns. Listen, it's an opinion piece. You know, I don't need to put facts in. It's just my opinion. Now, the next article, the next column, is going to tell you what the greatest game of all time is. Fact. And that is a fact.
Good God.
And that's in there. And that's it. That's all I've got. Listen, Jane, Nick, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
I hope that you come out of this shining and don't get death threats and hatred and swear words on the forum. Alex, thank you for pressing the buttons. And I think Jane's going to give us some facts now. Jane.
Just another word to say, come on over to the Tech and Gadgets message boards, tech.uk.msn.com, and let us know what you thought of the podcast. Give us some suggestions for next time,
yes,
unless
please.
you've already got plans.
No,
Do you have plans for next time?
I have a vague idea in my head, but if someone suggests something better, then
Awesome.
I'm happy to go with
Okay.
that, yeah. And send in your comments and stuff, and we will read them out. We're not shy. you
No,
know,
not at
definitely
all.
not shy.
So yeah, look out for Ian's next column in 2 weeks, and another podcast at the start of next month. That's all from us.
Goodbye.
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 The MSN Tech and Gadgets Gaming Podcast.